Well, anyways, I wanted to do pop off another video about this stuff and just say, entitle it How I Am 100% Certain That Trump's Tariffs Are Going to Fail and everything, and how they are in the fiery hell. They have less of a chance of a snowball surviving ultimately 10 year, 100 years in a fiery, flamey, hell, hot hell, unscathed. You know, Trump's tariffs do of having any success. And I don't mean to be like fatalistic and pessimistic about any of this stuff. It's not, but I'm a realist, okay? I'm not like that's me, okay? I don't. Sometimes good things happen, okay? Like I'm not saying otherwise, like but this is just not gonna work. Trump's tariffs are just absolutely going to fail because they're all based on like a faulty read of the political situation that's happened. You know, and I know that this is the case because the tariffs are based on a faulty assumption. You look at like the world and you think, them Chinese sons of bitches have stolen all this work. These motherfuckers on Wall Street have, you know, killed manufacturing and shipped all these jobs, up and shipped all these jobs because it was cheaper to have it manufactured by Chinese labor. No, 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 no. And that's just not true. For one thing, much of the manufacturing never left the United States in the first place. We were still doing it while China was supposedly stealing it from the rest, all of us. And what we saw happen in those factories is that more and more automation took over, you know. And then on top of everything else, even in China, initially it started with a lot of Chinese laborers, doing the manufacturing work, but over time, much more and more of it is being automated. As the money has, as the players have more and more money, they're eliminating a lot of that work even within China. You know, I mean, have you seen the shit about the dark factories? Go look it up here. You see it. And you'll see it. You'll see that there just the situation is in that regard, and there are factories where they don't even turn the lights because so much of the work is just being completely automated, no humans involved, and everything. And there is still going to be work in manufacturing, right, and everything, especially if it reshores. But the thing about it is that to hedge this, in such a way that you understand what my objection is that it's never gonna be at the scale that people in the United States want, and are hoping for and everything. It's never gonna be like the whole problem with the idea of tariffs are going to create an export economy where we're shipping all these goods and merchandise to the rest of the world, and it's going to bring back manufacturing, and it's going to bolster the middle class all up again and resurrect the fact that a bunch of the economic stratification is going to be healed. Everybody that wants work is going to be able to find it, and if you want a job, you're going to be able to find a work in the factory and all that other stuff. See, if you're hoping for this, you're probably hoping that you're going to get a job in a factory. And the problem with that is that's just not, realistically speaking, most of you, that is not going to happen for, and everything. And the reason why is that, the changes that have happened to the manufacturing industry are basically that more and more of the work was automated. And as machines improved, they were able to automate more and more and more of the work out of the system, and more of the work was being done by machines. Now, I admit that right now, at companies like Amazon, the work inside an Amazon factory is still very largely done by way of workers that are working alongside machines, right? Like they're just augmenting their labor so that they're able to get more done, basically with fewer workers and everything, or maybe the same workers, but the workers that are there are more productive and everything. And so you know, but the robots are getting better and better and better all the time. The innovations are improving them constantly. And so, you're starting to see that this is happening and everything. And you can see the fact that robots are improving. And I don't know, maybe eventually they will begin to displace human labor, and everything rather than just augmenting it and everything because of the fact that they keep getting better and better. And, the AI systems have come in and all this other stuff. And a lot of companies are trying to save money by way of AI doing the work that people used to do and all this other stuff. So these jobs have been not so much shipped off to China, they've been automated out of existence. If you want to work in a factory, well, that work is already obsolete. It, it's gone, man. That work will never be available again because it's all being done by a machine now. And uh, this is why Trump's tariff is going to fail. I don't want to be perceived as one or anything. That's not what I am. I'm just realistic. And realistically speaking, Trump doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of resurrecting, manufacturing in the way that, he's been talking about it. See, because what I mean by all this is that essentially he may succeed at bringing and reshoring manufacturing, but what happens won't happen the way that you're hoping for. That's what I mean. Like if that worked, if there is a lot of reshoring onto American shores of manufacturing, it won't create a jobs boom in the United States, because much of the work is going to be done by robots, not people.